Today we're looking at the very first STARTECH Tesla Model Y in North America. But before we talk about the Model Y and STARTECH as a whole, we need to talk about Brabus, because Brabus has decades worth of experience modifying vehicles from Mercedes-Benz, and they offer visual and power packages. They're about as close as you're going to get to an OEM quality product in the aftermarket. So taking all that experience, they're moving into the EV space with their company STARTECH, and they have products for both the Model Y and the Model 3. Today we're looking at the very first Model Y. So the way I figured we could break up this video is I will walk you through the exterior and all the changes to this Model Y. We will talk interior, we'll take it for a drive. Please make sure to use the chapters feature in the video to skip around to see exactly what you want to see. So let's start with the exterior. Now the first thing that stands out about this Model Y is the front bumper, which is the new STARTECH front bumper, and you can see it has the gloss black accents contrasting nicely against the white, and you have those new fog lights. They're an optional extra, but you're gonna want them if you want to get the full look of the bumper. So as you can see, it's a totally redesigned front bumper, but it still has nice little aerodynamic elements in keeping with the whole theme of the car while giving it a sportier look. Now, in terms of wheel options, you have two sets. You can have 20-inch wheels, but this car has the larger 22-inch wheels. These wheels are 22 by 10.5 wide, and they actually have some pretty wide tires, especially for an EV. They're 285s in the rear, but I think they look very nice, and again, a bit of contrast between the white and the gloss black. The rear end is where you're going to see most of the changes, because we have this new rear diffuser, also finished in gloss black. Now, the interesting part about this diffuser is that you don't need to change the whole rear bumper. You can keep the OEM rear bumper and just change this lower section here. Then you have this lip spoiler in the back with a small STARTECH logo hiding in there. And to finish it off, we have the roof spoiler, which, as you can see right through it. And again, it just sort of ties in this sporty theme. Let me get you another view of it through here. And the cool thing is that a lot of these parts, actually most of these parts, can be ordered individually. You don't need the full kit if you don't want it. So if you just want the lip spoiler or the diffuser, you can order it that way. These taillights are also upgraded, but they're not out just yet, so we don't have exact pricing or availability, but pretty much all the pieces on this car are available for pre-order right now. If you want the parts for the Model 3, those are available for purchase right now. So these are new LED taillights, which have a very distinct look, almost a little, I don't know, a little Aventador-ish in some ways, but very, very cool. Now, when looking at the side profile, it may become a little obvious that this car does have lowering springs. They lower the overall ride height by about 40 millimeters and give the Model Y a more aggressive stance. Now, we'll discuss in the driving portion how that affects the overall drive, but just a little bit of riding in the passenger seat I've done so far, it still feels plenty comfortable, so no real drawbacks on that front. So the next major changes are going to come in the interior. The interior is available in 3 colors, which is this color here, red and white, and you see how we have this embroidered stitching here, which is a very, very nice touch. So the seats are the same in the front as they are in the rear, so that same sort of two-tone color combination. And it's still a vegan leather, so it's sort of in keeping with the theme, the original theme of the Model Y. We have an Alcantara and leather wrapped steering wheel with stitching to match the seats themselves. But perhaps my favorite part about the STARTECH Model Y is the digital instrument cluster in front of the driver, because if you know about Teslas, all your information is in the main screen here, but with STARTECH you can have it right in front of you, so you don't have to turn around, you don't have to turn your head to see what you need to see when you're driving. Here's another angle of the interior itself. I spoke to the folks from STARTECH. They mentioned they may want to do other parts for the door cards and such, but for now you have to stick with the dashboard panel there. But the seat and the color with the steering wheel, just the upgrades, I feel like it looks very sporty, but it's not crazy over the top. I think it sort of fits the theme of making the Model Y a little bit more aggressive without drastically changing it. So I really like the execution of everything, and just like the taillights, the digital instrument cluster in front of the driver is all plug and play, so no major workarounds need to be done. And like I mentioned, everything is available for purchase individually. So how about we let's take it for a drive. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the STARTECH Tesla Model Y. We're gonna take it on a short spin. Now, in terms of performance differences, there isn't any added power, so we're not gonna feel any of that. And this is a base model Model Y, so you don't really need the high spec to add any of the add-on parts. There's no high cost of entry in that sense. The main thing that we're feeling out for here is the suspension with the upgraded springs, because in theory, lower spring should be a little bit stiffer, a little bit tighter. But for the most part, this Model Y remains just as comfortable as any other Model Y I've ever driven. There isn't really a major difference in that front. Now, in terms of feeling, something that I noticed almost immediately is the feeling of the steering wheel, because touching the Alcantara and the leather feels a significant difference from the standard Model Y that has a sort of vegan leather wrap steering wheel. The use of Alcantara, again, is just sort of in keeping with that sporty theme, but it's just a nice use of materials and a vital contact point. One thing that's also sort of almost OEM is this digital instrument cluster in front of me. It feels like something that doesn't seem out of character for the car. The graphics are really good, and you can see a little Model Y in the display there. But it's just something that when I've ever driven a Tesla before, I've always bothered me, the fact that I have to look over to the main screen to see the information I need, where now I can just have a little glance down and I can see my speed. After driving a little bit in the city streets, I can say the suspension feels, again, pretty similar to a standard Model Y. The Model Y and just Teslas in general tend to be a little on the stiffer side, definitely trying to manage all of the weight from the battery pack, and this is just perhaps a little bit stiffer, but not drastically, not to the point where it feels I don't feel like a major drawback. I feel like the aesthetic benefits of the lowering springs are absolutely worth it without really detracting from the overall driving experience. Other than that, this feels, again, just like a OEM Tesla. The quality of the seats, the fit and finish of everything feels absolutely fine. And, oh, there we go, it's beeping at us. Beeping at us like every Tesla does. Now, where you'll likely see the most benefits will be in twisty and curvy roads because of the wider tires and the stickier rubber. So obviously I can't test it today, but admittedly, I would assume that this car has a little bit more grip than a standard Model Y, with, again, a little bit more balance because of the lowering springs. Teslas in general tend to have a fair amount of body roll, and I feel like these springs do a good job of reducing that front a little bit. So definitely there is no major drawback in terms of the overall driving experience, and frankly, a very, very cool, like the way that the STARTECH kit allows the Model Y to look different, because if you order a Tesla, you have the choice of like 4 different colors and they all look exactly the same. So having a package like this that allows you to customize it, it allows you to stand out without having to massively rework or affect your car in any way, because by using all of the parts from STARTECH, you don't really change the usability of the car. None of the systems are reduced, nothing changes, it's just, you're just adding on top of that. So overall, from the driver's seat, it feels very good.